Hi guys, Lauren here, aka Flossabilities, back with my June review of what I got up to in my stitching life. Yes, another month has passed already. It went a lot quicker than May, June. And yeah, here we are already, just reviewing what happened. Nothing really much to say about June, life-wise, just got through the month, had a bit of time off, crashed a bit, so I lost my stitchy bug, so I didn't utilise my time off as much as I would have hoped to do with my stitching, but I did hit all my targets of 5,000 stitches on each of my pieces, so I'm happy enough. It's just one of those months, it is what it is. But yeah, the weather's getting nicer. We've had a few days of rain, but it is humid, sticky. It's not my favourite type of weather, but it is definitely warmer than usual, and I'm sure with July and August just around the corner we will be getting a lot more hotter weather, so we'll see. I think the most exciting thing that happened in June is that I got two bits of happy mail. One was one I was expecting, which was from Laura at Loves Rubber Stamps and Needlecrafts. Her parcel from the States arrived. Thank you so much, Laura. I absolutely adored opening the parcel. So I'll just show you that in a moment, what I received from one of her giveaways. And I also received some unexpected happy mail from my partner. We celebrated a kind of dating anniversary. We've been together 5 years, and he'd obviously very cleverly picked up that I was after some patterns, and decided to start the series for me and got me a few of them. So I was made up to receive them on our anniversary day. So yeah, I'll show you what I received from him as well. So yeah, just to start with what Laura so very kindly sent. Thank you so much again, Laura. Firstly, I must show you this. She sent me this lovely card in the parcel with, it's got artwork on it by Michelle Palmer. How cute is that? This mouse with the pumpkin, it's just everything I love. You couldn't have picked a better card for me, Laura, honestly. And it says spread love everywhere you go, let no one ever come to you without leaving happiness. And that's Mother Teresa quote. I just absolutely gorgeous Michelle Palmer artwork. Thank you so much for sending such a thoughtful, beautiful card with your parcel. I wasn't expecting it, and your message was lovely. So thank you very much, Laura. I just dropped something there while I was talking to you, so I've just picked them up. You try and be organised, and gravity takes place. Right. Okay. So the next thing that she sent me, which was the actual giveaway prize, was this Just Cross Stitch magazine from December 26. Oh, sorry. It's the November-December issue 2011. Isn't it lovely? This piece is inside, and this is what Laura's stitching, and it is stunning. So if you want to check out Laura and see where she's got up to with that so far, that pattern is inside. I'll just see if I can find it. There is some lovely patterns in here. I'll show you the main reason that I chose it. I quite like this little I'll try and show you about the pattern. This little gingerbread ornament. Isn't that quaint? Isn't that nice? Oh, we've got a Star David pattern. Isn't that lovely? So the reason I wanted this particular is I love me a Santa. I like oldie worldy, kind of European-y Santas. I just think there's something so nostalgic and lovely about them. And when she was flipping through this to show you what was inside for you to, potentially win, she flicked onto this page, and I was like, I want to enter the giveaway. So they're called Santa portraits, and there's 4 of them. Here they all are. I just love a pipe. I love a Santa with a pipe. It just gets me. But each of these Santas are just so kind of oldie worldy. We'll do a feather there. And the pattern for each of them is in this magazine. Now, ironically, if you can see, this is done on a very neutral linen. In my last video, I showed you that I bought this job lot of this raw opalescent Belfast linen. So when this arrived, I just couldn't believe how perfect a match that was. Obviously, mine's got a bit of glitter in, just make it a bit more Christmassy. But how much of a perfect match is that for one of them Santas? So I think what's going to happen is at some point I'll pick my favourite, if I can, and I'll pop that on this, and then over the years I'll try and maybe complete them all. But I absolutely love this magazine, and I'm just so grateful to Laura for sending it. I'll see if I can find, oh, here it is. This is a red birds pattern. This is the one that Laura's doing. Isn't that floral display stunning with the birds amongst it? It's just a lovely magazine, and I'm just very lucky and grateful to have won it. So yeah, I'm gonna, obviously at some point in the future, my many cross stitch patterns to do, knock out one of them Santas on this gorgeous 32 count raw opalescent. I think he'll just pop lovely on there, and then I'll pop a brown frame on him, just like they've shown in the magazine. So thank you very much, Laura, again. It was so nice to get happy mail. It's so exciting, isn't it, when you get happy mail? So that was lovely. Okay, so the next thing that I received in the mail unexpectedly is I'd been eyeing up, this is Shil McKinley that's done this, the Country Cottage Needlework Sampler of the Month. Now, I already have like the Frosty Forest series to do, the Gingerbread Lane series, the Santa series, the Santa's Village, the Cottages of the Month. I have all them to do, and I haven't started them yet. And I'd been kind of looking at these over the last few weeks going, I really want them, you know, but I don't need them and I shouldn't do. And my partner's like, you know, you've got cottages already. Do you really need them? I was like, yeah, but they're different because they're a sampler. I can see non-cross stitchers points. It's like how many ways you need to say the season that you're in. But this is a cross stitchers paradise, isn't it? This is what we love. So he obviously took that knowledge and went away, and he got me, his intention was to get me the first 6 in the series, and he got me them from Patchwork Rabbit, which are just slightly behind them being released, so because it takes time for them to come over. The only one he couldn't get though, because it was sold out, was January, so he will just get that when it arrives. So he basically got me so far February. It's very glary, sorry, can you guys see that? I'll try and take them out. Okay, there's February. Doesn't really want to focus. Can I zoom? No, can't zoom, just leave it. So there's February. We got March. It's got these lovely little leprechauns on, very cute. April. I'm sorry it's so blurred, but hopefully you can gauge what it is, and you can just Google these, Sampler of the Month, Country Cottage Needleworks. That was April. My birthday month, May. The beautiful beehive on there and flowers. And then finally, June, which I love. It's got watermelon on. I love watermelon. Very bright, happy sunny colours. What I really like is I might get the special threads. They use classic Colourworks, because what they've done is they've kind of used them throughout the whole series. So once you've bought them, you're not kind of having to go, I need just one extra floss for one piece. They all seem to have just, she's picked a palette and then run with that with the whole series. But yeah, what a lucky girl I was that I got 5 out of the first 6 months, and he'll get me the next one. And then he said he'll get me the other half of it, hopefully at Christmas. So yeah, don't need any more patterns, but I've now got nearly half of the first part of the cottage samplers of the month. I really need to do some country cottage needleworks in my rotation at some point. So there we go. So yeah, so that was my happy mail. I'm going to show you now my whips. I've got my 3 whips. I've actually got one of Mama Flossabilities whip again because she's got a row finish. I thought I'd just show you that. And then after I've showed you them 3, I've got a full FFO. So you haven't even seen this started. She started it, to me, stitched it. She keeps saying she's slow, but she stitched it super quick, framed it, everything. And I've got the finished piece to show you today. So I'm going to show you that, and it is stunning. So I can't wait to show you that. And then right at the end of the video, it's not for everyone. There is kind of a Q&A on some of the questions I've been asked over the last few videos in comments about how I stitch with 2 strands, how do I start, just loads of different types of questions. And it's pretty much me mainly talking, answering these questions with the cross stitch in front of me. I completely get that a lot of you won't need that section, but for those who've asked the question, I've put that there at the end in the hope of helping. And even if I only help one person, it's worth the effort. I watch Flosstube just like everyone else to gain tips, to get better, to learn. So we're of all varying degrees watching Flosstube. So I've put that at the end just to help those who've asked. But the rest of you, don't worry about it. When I finish my whips, you may leave if you want to. Okay, so let's start with the whip. So we'll start with Mama's first. So again, all these are by the charting company Pain-Free Crafts. They're all stitched on 25 count easy guide fabric. The artist is Chris Dunn, and Mama Flossabilities is stitched 1/1 full cross. Okay, hers is a chart called Knitting Circle. So here she is today. We have a full row done since the last time I saw you. Look at the bottom of this armchair, the top of this armchair. I just love it. I just think she's done an amazing job, and I'm loving seeing that blanket that they're knitting coming to life. They're just so clever with all this kind of shadow effect, and just when you take a step back, it just makes sense. Gorgeous. Yeah, she's doing really, really well with this. So that's like 2, is that 3 rows done now? Yeah, second row done. And so she's on to the 3rd now. She's already made a start there at the bottom, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. Well done, Mama Flossabilities. Lovely. And I know at least one of you is stitching this, so I hope it's helpful seeing other people's progress of it as well. Okay. My whips. So as I said, I did hit all their targets, but I don't feel I got as much done as I could have done this month. And I felt, ironically, that each one happened to land at not the most interesting point in the piece at the same time, so that probably didn't help. But here is what Halloween will look like when it's finished. And this is what it looked like last time you guys saw it. And here it is today. I'm going to go back now. So I have obviously been focusing on this row. I'll just have to bend it over a bit just to show the row and talk about it. So I think last time you saw me, I pretty much had just completed a full page, and I had mainly started working on the cauldron. So that page is now completely done. Cauldron is finished, and the bottom of her skirt and her wee feet are now poking. And they're done. Finished the roundness of this frame, and this I think was the kind of page line here, something like that. Did all this welcome mat. You can see it's a bit worn in the middle where people have been standing on it. And then I moved on to this page, and I kind of nearly got it finished, but not quite. So this Dracula squirrel is holding, in essence, a trick-or-treat bag, but it's just another small cauldron. And I've still got, because that's quite confetti, the sweets to fill in. And because I worked dark to light, the lightest bit on him was his arm, his sleeve. So I've got that still to do. And some of the door, and just finishing off a few stitches in the welcome mat. But the cauldron's pretty much finished, because I do darks first. So yeah, I was at 57.1% last time you saw it, and then I've done 5,140 stitches in June, so I'm now at 61.28%. So yeah, this is a common theme this month. I'm now in the 60s of all of them, which is really good. I almost feel like it should be higher than that because of how much I've done and how much I feel I've got left, but we're at 61%. The pattern keeper doesn't lie. But I just think it's looking great, and now that row's coming along, the piece just looks more and more complete and finished. So next time I'm basically gonna finish this page, and then we'll get back into a bit more interesting page where I'm finishing off the kind of body, or most of his body, and moving on to the raccoon witch. And she's like holding a broom, and she's got like a stripy costume on, so that'll be fun. And we're kind of getting close to halfway of another row finish, so we'll just see how much I can get done next time round. Do I think it'll be finished by Halloween? Probably not, sadly, which is really frustrating, but never mind, it'll be ready for Halloweens of the future. But yeah, that's Halloween. Really, really happy with him. Mine is stitched 2/1. Sorry if I forgot to mention that. Mum's a 1/1, mine a 2/1 full cross. Love it. So that's Halloween. Getting bigger now. It's hurting my arms more to hold him up every time. What's next? Wise Old Owl. So this is what it looked like this is what it'll look like when it's finished. And this is what it looked like last time you guys saw it. So if memory serves me right, I got a row finish last time, which was excellent. I was really happy with that. I don't think I've done quite as much this time. In fact, I know I haven't, because I hit on the nose 5,000 stitches. So I was obviously getting ready to be done with this rotation. So just kind of went, just do this last few stitches to get to 5,000, then I can say I've done. And I think it's because of where I was at. So I'll just show you. So here he is in all his glory. Bend over, new row started, and I just stitched a lot of cupboard. It was a lot of browns and reds, and I pretty much worked on cupboard. And the top of what, it's not obviously clear, I think, until I've done this, but it looks like a little lidded ornament that maybe is an inkwell, and you push the lids, like there's the, this is like the handle, I don't know if you can see that. And then obviously more stem of the candle holder. This was a partial page. I kind of bled into this a bit and then carried on with this page, and I did the underside of his tail, and obviously I do darks first, so this is why you can see these bits left over the tip of his wing, just because I was going to leave the lighter browns to last, to complete that page. So I'm so close to completing that page. There's like 2 stitches here as well of that with one of the colours in the tail, and then I'm back on him and then going into this giant book that he's reading. So I think I just got basically sick of cupboard. It's so effective though. Look how 3D that cupboard looks with the books on it. It really makes more of the piece make sense, but it's just not the most funnest thing to stitch. So yeah, I was at 56.50% last time you guys saw him. And I'm now at 60.06%. So I just made it. I did make it. But yeah, I'll just let you look at him a bit longer. So the cupboard's done. I think this is the top of the floor where all the objects are that he's standing on. So it's just like brown on brown. It looks really effective. It's just not the most fun thing to stitch. But I absolutely love him. I do love him. And again, we're in the 60s. Woo! So, okay. Final one is cheese delivery. So this is what it'll look like when it's finished. And this is what it looked like last time you guys saw him. Sip of coffee. Okay, I'm going to show you where he is today. He had the most worked on him, but I am disappointed to say that I did want to get row finished and I didn't quite make it. But hey ho, I'll make it on this rotation. So here is, just bend him over a bit, cheese delivery. Let's go back a bit. Okay. So, where did we go to? So last time you saw him, it didn't look like I had a lot to do, but I was filling in the back of this, so it's almost very, very similar colour to the fabric, but you can tell it hadn't been stitched when you're looking up close. So I had to finish this page of background colour on the van, and then worked his shoulders, got the rest of his coat in, finished off this brown bar. Again, not the most interesting point in the piece, doing, the bars of frame, things like that. And the van is very confetti with lots of different colours. There's new writing though now. This says Hartley's, and there's the H and a bit of the A is cut off, but that will say Hartley's. Sorry, a truck's just gone past if you heard that. It was actually like a motorised mower. It seems to be parking up. I'm hoping you can't hear this too bad. Let me see if I can close the window. 2 seconds. Sorry about that. I was just worried I've gone through the whole video and then you're just going to hear for the rest of the video. So, yeah. So I'm still quite a bit a way off, but this is the last page I'm on, and this is the start of the page. So, yeah, I have done 5,502 stitches on this piece this month. So he is the most stitched, and he is still the highest, most forward to finishing. He was at 62.97% last time you saw him, and now he's at 67.43. So we are so close to 70% really. So ultimately, the exciting bit with this one is that once I finish this page in this rotation, and I will finish this page in this rotation, I'm going to be on, in essence, what I'm calling the last page, because I'm merging a partial page at the bottom with this page, and so that I'm seeing the proper end of the piece. And I think that will spur me on, knowing that if I just get through this last row, I have a completed project. It will make the pages much larger than I'm used to, so I think I'm going to have to accept that it might be a page per month, unless I had like a stonking month on it and got like a page and a half. So even though I feel so close to finishing this in some respects, I'm also conscious that it could still be another 5-6 months, and it might be only the end of the year. But I'm keeping optimistic. Jemima, the Rocking Stitcher, she and a few others are doing a hashtag of like trying to finish a full coverage this year. And I think when I post in Instagram my monthly summary of these. I'm going to put this one as the one I'm hashtagging, and it's just going to motivate me to try and get this finished. So I'll just try and join all the other guys to get a full coverage finish. But he's looking lovely, and the van, it's so funny how stitching works, because this is a blue van, but obviously behind the window of the front it's been dulled down. But this is an open door. This is the edge of an open door here, and there's a doorknob down here somewhere. You can see the blue van, but none of these colours are actually blue. They're all grey and purple and different colours. But yeah, but that's cheese livery, guys. I know that's quite a favourite of some. Ellie Welly Stitches doing this one. Hi Elaine. She's doing it with half stitches, two strands. It looks fabulous, and you should check hers out. She's kind of working away at the top of the ceiling at the moment, but yeah, hers is looking wonderful. There we go. That's me whips, guys. That's me whips for another month. So the final thing to show you before I let you go, or before you watch the end segment with me answering questions about my stitching. Mama Flossabilities did a Madame Chantilly piece called Summer. It's one of the summer tray. Sarah, is it So With Me, Sarah? I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. She's doing these as well, and she knows they actually are quite a bit more work than what they appear to be. They're misleading, they're tricking you. But she's done this on a Zweigart 18 count pearl grey Ada, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to show you this, and she framed it herself, laced it at the back, and we use a company called Picture Frames Express to buy all our frames. They just have a wide variety. They give you everything you need to frame it, and then we just lace it and frame it. So this is Mama Flossabilities completed Summer Tray by Madame Chantilly. OMG. It's absolutely stunning. She's got it in the kitchen. Mama has like a grey and kind of sage colour kitchen, lovely kind of pastel colours, and she's got this leaning up on a shelf in the kitchen next to like a cake stand and a little beehive that ornament pot that holds honey, and I'll either put a picture here to show you, or if not, it will be the thumbnail of this video. So we've obviously got this kind of chalk, I think it says Hello Beach on there. All this beautiful foliage in red, the seahorse, big summer at the bottom, beautiful blue plants there, the whale. You've got this little fish in a jar. Each of them have like a lady here, and this is obviously like a little swimmer, beach lady. We've got sandcastle, flag, all the bunting. We've got this cup that says sea with these beautiful sunflowers in, and a seagull at the top, mermaid, lighthouse, and more foliage. And it's all on this display tray. And they have several of these trays, so they've got like fall, autumn, Christmas, Easter, spring, so I think her goal is to do a few of them. Sorry, a little spider's just come from nowhere. I'm a little bit frightened of him. So I'm trying to keep my composure, because it's a UK spider, so there really is no danger. It's just my irrational fear. But how absolutely gorgeous is that? And it's so summery, and it makes me want to stitch more summer, because I am terrible for not stitching bright, beautiful things, even though I absolutely love them and love the effect of them. So yeah, that's it, guys. Well done, Mama Flossabilities. Thank you so much for spending time with me again. As I said, there's a video at the end with just some Q&A. And it's not for everyone. It's my personal opinion on things, and helping other people with the questions they've asked. So that's it really. But thank you so much for liking, subscribing, commenting. I hope you all have a wonderful July, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you. Bye. Hi guys, just back with a very quick tutorial on how I start my stitching. That was one of the questions I received. So I stitched 2 strands over one, so just one of these little squares here, and I'm just going to show you how I start. So I use something called the loop method, and that just involves taking one single strand of floss, as you can see here, and you just find both the ends, and you put the ends together. So now I've got 2 ends together, and that's doubled over now, so I've got 2 strands of floss with a loop at the end, and at this end I've got 2 ends in essence, so a loop at one end, 2 ends at one end. I'm just going to load the 2 ends onto the needle, which means you're left with a loop at the back, and you've loaded it with the 2 ending meat bits, if that makes sense. So I'll just zoom in. Let's try and find a point. Okay, so let's do here. Okay, so this is one of your squares. You can start wherever you like to start with this method. I like to start at the bottom left, so I'll just go down there. And ultimately, you're just going through like you would normally, start a stitch. But the important thing is you're going to leave this loop hanging over and not pull it through. You're then going to come up where you would naturally come up to complete your first diagonal, your first leg of the stitch, which is just here opposite. Okay, so the diagonal opposite. You're going to pull through. You see that's pulling the loop a bit. So now I've got this kind of just under one weft here. So this is the most important bit. You're going through the loop, and you're just going to pull gently, and you've now completed the first leg of your cross, but you've got this kind of nasty knot. I just gently go back and forth like this, just to tighten the knot, and then you're going to go back down the very first hole that you started this whole process. So for me, that was the bottom left, and you're just going to pull through, give it a little tug, and now the knot has transferred to the back, and then you can just carry on stitching now as normal. And that's it guys, away I go now. So that's the loop start method. I hope that helps those who wanted to learn that or just see how I start. You can start it from the back that way, but the loop start method from the front, doing it that way, obviously avoids you having to turn over the piece. So that's it guys. The next section is answering more of your questions and just kind of talking and referencing the cross stitch. Okay, thanks, bye. Hi guys, back again. So hopefully you just saw the segment with the 2-stranded loop method start, and for those who asked, I hope that's helpful. There is many ways to start. You can look up things like pin stitch, and if 2 strands isn't for you and you want to do 1 strand, I believe there is a way of doing the loop method with 1 strand. I've not had to use it myself, so I don't actually know myself how you start the loop method with 1 strand. But if you just Google it, in Flosstube, you should be able to find an instruction video on that. And if I discover how to learn to do it myself when I need to, I'll be more than happy to put a little clip on my video as well. But yeah, there's a good few ways of starting. I like the loop start. I find it very quick and easy, and once you practice it a few times, it's just super speedy. I don't need to turn my whole piece over to do it. I can just start from the front. And that's it. So hopefully that answered the question. It's really difficult filming it and trying to get in close while you're looking at it through the camera. So I hope it was clear. But just put a comment if you need me to do it again or something like that. So the other questions I had was, one lady asked if there is a difference in larger charts, and I think what she's referring to is that some charting companies, such as Heaven and Earth Designs, give an option. So there's one piece of art, for example, they don't do Chris Dunn, but for example, if they did this artwork, which is by Chris Dunn, they would have a mini version, and then they would have a regular version, and then they'd have a colour expansion, and then like extra large with max colours. Sorry, there's so many versions that you can buy to complete the artwork. And obviously I can't speak on behalf of any of these companies as to the reasoning, but from what, as a consumer, what I've gathered is that they're trying to give you the option of completing the artwork. And if you're someone who doesn't necessarily need the absolute minute detail, they've got the mini version, and you want to, finish it this side of Christmas, you've got that mini version. But for those who want to do a giant, very crystal clear, close to the artwork, they have created these other versions where you can have more thread colours in the design, and because it's larger, it's allowing you to see the detail more clearly. So they've just basically catered to everyone's tastes and preference, and it's up to you as the purchaser to decide which is your preference, really. So are you someone that wants a massive, really large, some of them are, big piece of artwork, and want it crystal clear, and are you willing to put in the time, maybe 10 plus years for some of them to sit and do that with the amount of colour changes? Or are you someone who wants to see a close enough version to the artwork as possible? Some mini is actually quite clear, to be honest. I think it depends on the artwork. And you just want to do something that you enjoy stitching it, but you're going to knock it out a bit quicker. So in answer to your question, yes, the idea behind the larger versions and the max colours from Haid's point of view is to give you the choice to do a cross stitch that is very detailed and very clear. So having said that, this charting company I use, Pain Free Crafts, from what I've gathered from Sarah of Pain Free Crafts, that's the owner with her husband, Sarah and Simon Payne. So obviously I cannot speak for them, but as a purchaser and someone on their Facebook group, having spoke to Sarah and seen messages, from what I understand is this piece, for example, cheese livery, you can only buy this one chart. There's not a mini, there's not a massive version of it. This is something like 12 by 16 inches. So it's a very good size, but it's something that can be completed in a year or two, dependent on your stitching speed, or if you decide to do a half stitch or a full cross, that can vary the time. And I think their idea is that they wanted to create something that had very clear clarity and looked like the artwork, and was very detailed, but they've managed to do it in a way that it only uses 80 to 90, maybe 100 colours. Is an average good size, but is not small, so you're losing some of the detail. So they've created a kind of format that works for them, and hopefully my piece is testament to that. The detail is gorgeous. I know we're very close in at the moment, we go back a bit, but the detail is gorgeous of all these cheeses, and this has been created with only 80-90 colours, and it's going to be about a 12 by 16 finished piece. So I'm happy with that. I like the fact that it's a good size for a wall, but yet is not so large that it would take me a while. Because I'm someone who likes to complete them, I think I would struggle if I, and I would, well, I definitely would. I would struggle if I had to stitch it for 10 years and I wouldn't allow myself to start anything new, because that's the way I stitch. So I like this size for me personally, and I find that the detail is brilliant, and I am changing colour. There is confetti areas, but I'm not changing it double the amount because there's maybe 200 threads. But again, that is all choice and preference, and every charting company offers something different. The choice of artwork they choose can lend itself well to a cross stitch, some doesn't quite as well, and it's all about the charter and what, you know, decisions they've made as a company to provide. So I hope that answers your question. It's very difficult to explain, but ultimately there is a wide variety of charters out there, and it's up to you to kind of work out what your preference is. But yes, the idea is, if it's the larger it is, and more colours are in it, the more detailed it should be. Okay, so that's that question answered, hopefully. The other question I had was about page breaks and not avoiding lines. So hopefully you can see that I haven't really got, I mean, these are all individual pages, and I haven't really got that many lines. I've got the odd Q snap line, which is natural and will wash out. But in terms of lines of stitching, I haven't really noticed any. So hopefully what I'm doing seems to be working. So ultimately, what I do is very simple. There is obviously very many methods of working the piece. So some people do parking, where they'll pick a colour, they'll stitch maybe 100, the 10 by 10 blocks, which is 100 square, sorry, one of these, just make that more simple, and then they'll park it over in this box. Or some people do maybe a row and park it below. So that's one way of doing it, is parking. Some people stitch kind of diagonally like this, and they'll just complete a whole diagonal. And might mix it up a bit with parking and park it over here. What I do is a bit of cross country, really. So for me, if this was a page, I take the darkest colour in that page. You don't have to, it's just my preference. I like my lights to pop. So I take the darkest colour, maybe just in the top square of the new page, and I will literally run all the way down the page until I finish that colour. So I literally take a blob of that thread, put it to the side of me. I'm not having to keep changing colours. I just take the top colour that's maybe darkest, like 310 is black. So we'll go through the whole piece in any black. And then when I've finished, I move across either to the next page to the left, if I'm working that way. If I was going right, I'd go right, or down, wherever black appears next. And that's only if there's floss left on my thread at the end and I've completed all the black in that page. So you can see where I've done it here, where I've trailed down. This little kind of feathering, this just moving it down slightly. I mean, you can see I've not done it loads, but it's just stopping this hard line appearing because I've feathered the tension down. And obviously this is a full complete row, but when I was stitching here, I would have gone across as well. So it's just wherever makes sense to me, with any leftover floss on the thread, to just carry over just a smidgen, just so I've got these extra bits of tension pulling down. And that's it. So when I've done 310, I might go to another dark colour, like 3371's a very dark colour, and I'll just get that colour, maybe go at the top, and I'll just snake my way down, and just slowly the page starts forming one colour at a time. And that is simply all I do. And that has so far avoided page lines for me. So I definitely recommend that method. The other thing I thought this was a good time to mention. So 2/1 full cross tends to get a bit of a bad rep. It doesn't seem to be that popular. A lot of people call it bumpy or bulky, and they're not wrong, because if I zoom in, you can see that I definitely have some lumps and bumps, going on. I like to call it textured. That's the way I call it. I just think it sounds a bit nicer. ultimately, yes, when you are stitching with 2/1, I think the limit of count seems to be 25 count or 28 that you can do it before it starts getting obscenely hard to pull through. I personally have no problems pulling 2/1 through the fabric. Maybe right near the end, I might struggle a little bit with one or two stitches, but generally I don't have any problems. With full coverage, I find that I want it to look as close to the artwork as possible. And for me personally, I have found that it looks the best to me 2/1 in terms of colour, clarity, depth, 3D-ness. That's what I like. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what I like, and everyone's got to work out what they like and then try and achieve that themselves, whether that's one strand, two strands, half stitch, it doesn't matter. It's what works for you and what feels right for you, because there's that lovely cross stitch feeling you get when you're stitching it, and you only get that if you're doing it with the amount of strands or the type of stitching that you like to do. So it is very personal. The way I view it is that if you've ever gone into an art gallery and you look really up close to a painting, there's like brush strokes and lumps and almost like bits of gravel. But when you take a step back, you don't see any of that. In fact, all them lumpy, numpy, nasty bits are what's making it look so good. So I've had to just learn doing 2/1 because I like to be very neat in my stitching when it's non-full coverage particularly, but with full coverage I've had to learn when I'm up close, you know, like this, myself scrutinising every single stitch. I need to kind of let it go because I've stitched enough of it now to know that when I take a step back and look at it as intended, it doesn't look lumpy and bumpy. It's purely because I'm right up close and personal with it, creating my own artwork. And I just feel that them lumps and bumps actually aid how effective it looks at the end. But that's me. That's how I stitch, and I'm not going to change how I stitch, and I don't expect anyone else to change how they stitch. It's highly important that you just work out for yourself what you like to do. So play about with it, do one strand, do two strands, do half stitches, maybe do a little bit on some of this type of fabric and just see what feels right to you, and what also bear in mind what your goal is of when it looks on the wall. Are you a person that doesn't want any white showing? Are you a person that doesn't mind that or kind of wants to make sure it still looks very stitched? And that's obviously again personal choice. So yeah, I hope that's helped. I'm sorry it's a bit waffly, but and I hope I've answered everyone's question. But ultimately, I stitch cross country. I stitch with two strands. Works for me. And if you're interested in doing that, I hope it's helped you with your stitching. But yeah, that's it really, guys. But if there is any more questions, anything I've missed, please let me know in the comments. And I just hope you enjoy whatever you do, and I hope you get that lovely cross-stitchy cozy feeling with whatever you're stitching, because that's the most important thing, because we're stitching these for a long time. So enjoy, and thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you. Bye bye.